how well I can do this with a head full of sinus action going on here. Hey, so we're back in the vault, y'all. Good and cozy. And if we're back in the vault, that means it's time for the real rush, which means it's time for you to... 1, 2, 3. Bang your head to the opening rip! Well, that actually came out way, way, way better than I could have ever imagined right there. What's happening, y'all? It is your boy J-Dub, and welcome to episode 57 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. And as I stated during the intro a couple moments ago, yes, I am a little stuffed up. Almost got that old Jewish lady accent going on there. If her name was Stanley, and she lives up on the Upper West Side of Brooklyn, okay? Anywho, so please bear with me. I think last time I hit this state of stuffed upness was some episodes ago. I believe the name of the episode, I don't know what number it was, but I believe it was called Egg Pan, when it was supposed to be called Egg Man, but because of the cold that I had, or sinus, or whatever the hell was going on at the time, allergies, I pronounced man as pan. So let's see if we can get through this episode without fucking up too many words in the English language. So, once again, I do apologize. I am a tad late filming this episode this weekend. It is currently about, what fucking time is it? I don't know. It's sometime on Sunday afternoon and the evening. I'm not sure of the exact time because time went back last night and shit. I spent most of yesterday into today hallucinating because of, you know, the fact that I was trying to sweat out all the ickiness and shit going on. I don't do over-the-counter medicine, so I must be doing something right here. But yeah, so yeah, I slept through an entire day yesterday where the clock went back, so we went back in time. I didn't even know it, and I was wondering why the night was so fucking long last night. As I was trying to as I was waking up and sleeping through it and waking up and sleeping through it, and it felt like it was dark forever last night, but hey, we're finally here. Real rush time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get on down to the brass tacks of this week's ticket, episode 57, right here on The Real Rush. Now, I must apologize. Due to my stuffed upness, I was unable to make it to see Arctic Dogs yesterday. If you were looking for that review this week, I do apologize. I should have that for you in episode 58. But, like I said, your boy needed the rest yesterday. But how about that? I mean, the fact that, you know, I was feeling near death this time last night. And I'm probably going to be feeling it again as I'm editing this episode. But I bounced back and I'm still filming this episode. Yeah. So anywho, once again, due to the sickness and the hallucinations and shit, no Arctic Dogs yesterday, even though it might have made that movie that much better. I don't know. But, once again, if you are looking for the review for Arctic Dogs, I do apologize. We'll have that for you. Episode 58. So let's go ahead and move on to what we do have for you on this episode's Real Rush ticket this week. And let's go ahead and kick things off. Ooh. Old-timey prospector there. Let's go ahead and kick things off with the latest installment and what's being called the direct sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Hence, it's being called the real sequel. All the other ones since are just alternate universes, alternate timelines, which they can do when you're dealing with science fiction and, you know, time travel and shit like that. But let's go ahead and kick things off on this episode with my review of Terminator Dark Fate. Now, before we actually get into the review of this, if anybody has been following my Instagram the last couple of days, had a little bit of an incident happen when I wanted to go leave Terminator Dark Fate, which I saw up at the Airbus on Thursday night. We had some pretty rough fucking storms come through the Northern Virginia area on Thursday night. High winds. And, well, just take a look at the clip and yes. Let's go to the clip.
Hey yo, so I'm not sure how well you can see me right now or whatnot. It is 9:31. We just got out of Terminator Dark Fate about 10-15 minutes ago. Standing outside the Airbus, smoking a cigarette. Now the time that I left this motherfucker after the late show of Bohemian Rhapsody and the gate almost closed on me, that was some scary shit. But standing outside of the Airbus just now and having the power go the fuck out, I don't even know if you can see the building or anything. There's like auxiliary power on and shit right now. But it was completely dark a second ago and it was just me standing out here and there were two ladies that were walking to their car. So, yeah. That definitely tops the scary shit list of shit that has happened at the theater, including the time the lights went out at Cinemark Centerville. So, we're here in the car, back at Tito, heading back to the vault. Back to you in the vault there, J-Dub. For the real rush. Deuces.
Shit. I almost got flashbacks looking at that all over again. So yes, as you can see, I was quite frazzled. The entire complex went out. And if you've ever seen what the Air and Space Museum looks like, it's a beautiful building. But, as I've always stated, one of my biggest fears would be standing in the fucking parking lot during possibly a storm and then having the power go out, leaving only the outline of the building to see against the moving clouds. And that's exactly what the hell happened on Thursday night. That's one thing that I didn't mention in the video there. So as I was standing there with my cigarette and I watched the two ladies walking to their cars, or to their car, I said, alright, smoke this motherfucker real quick. And then that means by the time I finish this, they'll be rolling out and I'll just run to my car. Because originally what happened was I was standing in the corridor there and I went to go light up one, and then a little bit of a tornado came through, a little mini tornado. I said, fuck that, and ran back inside the museum where I met the two nice ladies and we spoke for a couple minutes. Anywho, so we go to leave and then all of a sudden you just felt this boom. As if you felt the power get sucked out of the complex, man. And I remember feeling that, looking up, seeing clouds moving somewhat fast, grayish clouds. Mind you, it's about 9:15 at night. I remember seeing their headlights and the rain coming down real hard. And this is the scariest part of all. Going to look back at the museum and only seeing its outline. The fucking power went out in the museum. So when I say the whole damn complex, I mean the whole damn complex. So, just this the same as 2 years ago is when I faced my fear of being at the Cinemark Centerville Theater and having the power go out in it during a movie, and then having to come out to the outline of ominous looking theater, as there were no lights in the fucking parking lot then either. Looks like we just kicked another fear of that on Thursday night. And that got my adrenaline a little bit up. So maybe my nose stuffiness will go away here a little bit. But, alright. So that was all about the power failure up at the Airbus on Thursday night. Let's go ahead and get on down to the actual movie of Terminator Dark Fate. Thank you for enduring my nice little tale there. So Terminator Dark Fate, as I stated a couple moments ago, this is being considered the direct sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which means Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis. I don't want to say that they don't count, but James Cameron is writing those off as happening in alternate realities in the Terminator universe, what have you. So, this peaked up so between that and the fact that James Cameron does return in at least a producing credit in this, that piqued a lot of people's interest in that. The last Terminator entry, Genesis, didn't get the hottest reviews. I thought it was the best sequel since Terminator 2, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get down to Dark Fate right here. So Terminator Dark Fate. Hi. Sometimes they're not all technical difficulties. Sometimes they're physical difficulties. Anyhow, where are we leaving off at? Okay, so Terminator Dark Fate. Now, Terminator Dark Fate, we have a woman down in Mexico who's now being pursued by a Terminator from the future, but she's also being protected by someone from the future, played by Mackenzie Davis. Does this plot line sound a little familiar here? Just a little bit? Just a little bit. Okay, so this movie does pick up about 22 or so years after the events of Terminator 2, after Sarah and John Connor have saved us from being blown to hell up by Skynet. And now that you got this new Terminator and basically the same story happening again, who should join up with these possible leaders of Les Resistance but the one and only Miss Sarah Connor? Because she's been through some shit over the last 20 some odd years and whatnot. Now she hunts Terminators. Oh yeah, baby. But not only do we see the return of Linda Hamilton as Miss Sarah Connor, but we also see Arnie returning as a Terminator as well. Yes. 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 I had a damn blast at this movie. 100% blast at this movie. Forget the fact that I'm a big fan of the Terminator franchise. Now, I will admit, like I was saying a couple moments ago, is this starting to, sound a little bit familiar to the original plot line? Aside from some, updates to the screenplay, it is a tad derivative of the first one. But if you're a fan of the first Terminator movies, or if you're a fan of the whole franchise or whatnot, I don't think that you'll find this too terribly like, oh, it's the same thing over and over and over again. Because they, like I said, they do add some new, more updated nuances to it. The screenplay was damn good. You got Tim Miller directing it, the guy who just did Deadpool a couple years ago. The humor and the interaction between Hamilton and Schwarzenegger, just as in the first two Terminator movies, off the chain. Schwarzenegger is most certainly back in his old form, so to speak. And Linda Hamilton doesn't look like she skipped a beat at all. So, all in all, Terminator Dark Fate, mighty damn enjoyable, y'all. It's playing everywhere. Like I said, I saw it up at the Airbus IMAX on Thursday evenings. You want to see this movie in the highest quality possible, and I don't think that you'll be disappointed. All in all, Terminator Dark Fate, Genesis just got the boot, as Terminator Dark Fate is now my newest favorite sequel to the Terminator series. Everything past Terminator 2, of course. Something else I was about to say to that. Yeah, it's an awesome movie. It's an awesome movie. And once you hear that dun 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 dun, yeah, the shivers going up and down your spine, them feels are real, y'all. So, Terminator Dark Fate. I kind of want to see this shit again, but I will most certainly be getting it on 4K when it comes out in a couple months. So, boom, Terminator Dark Fate. Hopefully, when y'all go to see it, y'all won't have to deal with any blackouts or any shit like that. Okay? Alright. Terminator Dark Fate. Play it everywhere. Catch it as soon as possible. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, we're going to go over to the newest Edward Norton vehicle, both starring and directed by Mr. Edward Norton. And this one is called Motherless Brooklyn. This is actually based off of a book. And this stars, once again, Edward Norton as Detective Lionel S. Rogg, who works to piece together and solve the murder of his mentor, Frank Minna, another gumshoe, 1950s New York, played by Bruce Willis. And the kicker to this is Lionel suffers from Tourette's, which makes his line of work, or, being able to perform, at tip-top shape in his line of work, a tad difficult at times. But because he has Tourette's, this actually causes a lot of people to kind of write him off as not the ace detective, even though this man is very sharp. So in this movie, we have Edward Norton, we got Bruce Willis, we have Willem Dafoe, we have Alec Baldwin, we have, I'm going to try to pronounce this lady's name correctly. If I fuck it up, I do apologize. Google Mbatha Raw? You see it on the screen there. Okay. Now, if anybody knows exactly how to pronounce that shit, let me know. Or if Ms. Raw, if you want to hit me up, let me know. That's cool, too. Anywho, so, being a detective movie based off of a detective novel set in the 1950s, what I really liked about this movie is the fact that Edward Norton perfectly captured the old school noir essence of black and white 1940s, 1950s detective movies in a 2019 film. The screenplay, or excuse me, the screenplay on point. The soundtrack choices totally on point. Lord knows, if you're gonna have a detective movie and you're gonna have some jazzy tunes in it, the two have got to go together like peas and carrots, Jenny. And I believe that they do in this one. Performance is awesome. Usually when I see a movie like this, as the first part of Triple Threat on a Friday, not to mention that this is a 2.5 hour movie, since I'm coming right from lunch and going to something like this, usually 9 times out of 10, it's not the easiest movie for me to make it through. But this had me glued to it the entire time. I think this is a movie that's going to be hopefully not widely slept on, but overall slept on just because you don't have very many people who have heard about it, or they'll kind of take the whole I'll wait for it to come out on Netflix route. Y'all, no. I would definitely recommend seeing this in the theater. Don't wait to Netflix this one. Is it quite Oscar caliber? It's not too far from it. There might be some surprises here or there, awards-wise, when it does come time for that within the next couple weeks. Personally, I don't see anything really popping off in those fields for this film. But like I said, it's most certainly not too terribly far off. Go get some different flavor in your palate, ladies and gentlemen. This actually reminded me a little bit of, if anybody's ever seen 1995's Devil in a Blue Dress with Denzel Washington. Just being able to capture, once again, that classic detective film style essence in an updated movie. I don't think that that's something that a lot of directors can pull off very easily this day. So that being said, the direction by Mr. Edward Norton and the cinematography in this movie are outstanding. Motherless Brooklyn, definitely check this out where you can find it. I believe that this is playing in pretty much wide release where you can find it, or excuse me, wide release. So you should be able to find it pretty much anywhere. I would go ahead and excuse me. We just got the one, or we're gonna do 3 for good luck. All right, just the one. All right. I would actually say that Motherless Brooklyn, since it is very old school in its way of storytelling and the detective gumshoe type stories, there's always a dame involved in this, so there's going to be some romance in it, so that this is going to be an awesome date night movie. You heard it here first on The Real Rush, ladies and gents. So Motherless Brooklyn, definitely check this out. You will not be disappointed by this one as well. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, let's go ahead and go over to what we saw as first up of our Friday Night Angelica double feature. I've been quite anticipating this movie for quite a while as well, and I am talking about the new autobiographical film, Harriet.
You pick, because I always like to sit in like the front row.
So this is
The light gray, this.
Yeah.
The
No.
screen.
Okay, so the screen is up
Yeah.
here, and you said the light gray is up here.
I actually love like this section here.
Okay. Do you want to do like one like that?
Now, once again, Harriet is the new autobiographical film based on the life and times of Miss Harriet Tubman, portrayed brilliantly, quite brilliantly, I should say, in this movie by the one and only Cynthia Erivo. who we saw in last year's Widows and Bad Times at the El Royale. Most certainly a name to keep on your radar if she already isn't, ladies and gents. And this follows her as she not only escapes to claim her own freedom from slavery, but how she also helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other slaves in the 1800s escape to freedom as well via the Underground Railroad. So aside from Miss Cynthia Erivo, you also have in this movie, you have Leslie Odom Jr., you have Joe Alwyn, you have Janelle Monáe, you have Vonnie Curtis Hall showing up in it, since this is a movie directed by his wife, Miss Cassie Lemons. And overall, I'd say that this was a pretty decent movie. I found it a little bit melodramatic at times, but it's not enough to quite harm the movie's overall tone as a whole. I did actually, I don't want to say enjoy, but it took more of a positive approach to it. Even though it does deal with its heavy topics and such at times. It's not just a heavy it's not a heavy wade in the water type movie. It's not like that. It's nothing quite on those lines. It's only about 2 hours and 1 minute, so it's not overly drawn out or anything along those lines. But just certain points felt just a little bit overacted. It did seem like Harriet would be suited better, more using the screenplay that they wrote for this. It seemed like it would have been suited better as like a stage play or something along those lines. However, this is just my opinion. And I say this because overall I give Harriet about a 6 to a 6.5. However, the audience that I saw this with at the Angelica the other evening gave it a standing ovation as the ending credits rolled. Now this is one of very rare instances where the audience reception was kind of flipped from what mine was. It seemed like they enjoyed it just a little bit more than I did. So, this looks like one of those middle of the fence type movies. Now this also just may be because of the fact that it was in between Motherless Brooklyn and Harriet that I felt the scratch in my throat starting to come up, so I knew it was going to come up besides phlegm for the next day or so. But all in all, y'all, I would most certainly, given the audience reaction and how much the audience loved this movie, I gotta say, go ahead and keep Harriet on your radar. Most certainly. This is not playing in the most wide release. It's in somewhat limited, somewhat wide release. So you know what you gotta do. You gotta do your IMDb. You gotta do your Fandango to find where this is playing. And I want to hear your thoughts on this one, ladies and gents. Because, like I said, this is gonna be the middle of the road. This is gonna be the one that I guess the most on the fence. Yeah. Let me know when you see Harriet. Let me know what you thought about it, and then we'll go from there. But once again, despite the fact me giving it about a 6.5, the audience, the way they cheered and raved about it, they gave it about 9. So that's your average cinema score right there for you, and I didn't even have to have them fill out one of those damn cards after the movie. So boom. Is this quite awards season caliber? Personally, I think it just missed the mark just a little bit. But then again, I don't want to say stranger things have happened, but surprises have happened in that department. So I'm still going to keep Harriet on my radar. I would most certainly suggest you do the same. Don't just keep it on your radar though. Go ahead and go see it where you can find it playing. It's most certainly playing at the Angelica if you are in the DC metropolitan area. Anywhere else, IMDb, Fandango, you know what you gotta do. Harriet, y'all, check it out. Get you some education. Oh, and that's another thing that was a little hit or miss about Harriet. You could tell that they took liberties with the story itself, but at the same time, it still seemed quite accurate. However, and this is the hit or miss part, the liberties that they did take with it, that's the kind of that's where I'm having a hard time like fully feeling out the movie, because it's still like going through my mind is like some of the liberties that they took were on point. Some of them weren't terrible, but, you know, could have been done better. So could have used a little bit of polishing. But other than that, once again, Harriet, decent autobiographical film. I want to hear your cinema score on it. So go check out Harriet. Let me know. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, let's go ahead and let's get on down to my review of what we saw as the main event Friday Night Angelica this weekend. And this one is called Frankie. Now, Frankie is the latest film from director Ira Sachs, and this follows famed actress, aptly named Frankie, played by Isabelle Huppert, as she's been gracing stage and screen for many decades, as she invites her family and her closest friends to a very picturesque village in Portugal to be with her, as she wants them to be close as she's entering in to the very final chapter of her life. Now, aside from Isabelle Huppert, you also have Brendan Gleeson, you have Marissa Tomei showing up in it, you have Greg Kinnear, just a pretty well-rounded cast of characters to round out this movie here. Now, one thing I do want to tell you about this movie is that it's very art house. It's very artsy. It's very dialogue driven. Something that I feel that the average moviegoer just may not go for. However, I do want you to give this a chance. Give this a chance because this is a better way of saying, even though that this is same as Harriet, Frankie would do very well as a stage play, but it's not often that you see these kind of movies come to the big screen. Once again, very dialogue driven, very heavy given the subject matter, sometimes depressing at times, because it's not just dealing with facing how one deals with facing their own mortality, but this is also dealing with the circle of life in all aspects, from life itself excuse me, to matters of the heart, romance, what have you, familial bonds, all that. So the way that it's executed on camera, quite well done. It's actually as if, and this is what I picked up on, is that it was more like the cast of characters, or the cast, were given what was supposed to happen in each scene, you know, from A to B, but they were given more free range to kind of like improv it. At least that's just the way that I could tell, being an improv artist, that it was coming off on screen. So overall, pretty well executed on screen. Once again, I want the average moviegoer to give this one a chance, same as with Motherless Brooklyn or a lot of other movies that I reviewed up to this point. Get some different flavor on your palate. It's not every day that you see movies like this. It's not every day that you go to see movies that don't have all the quick cuts and gotta have all the quirky dialogue and everything's just gotta be so wit. This is a movie that you go into knowing the central plot around. It's just all a matter of how it executes it from A to B. So, Frankie, it's currently playing in pretty limited release. I believe that only the Angelica in the DC metropolitan area is playing it. If I am wrong, sorry. You may check your IMDb and your Fandango for showtimes in your area. But Frankie, once again, this is more for the artsy, art house folk, but I don't want the average moviegoer to turn a blind eye to this. Open your mind to something new and check out Frankie where you can find it playing. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. Now we got 2 movies left on this Real Rush Ticket that I kind of had an inkling last weekend that I was going to go see at some point this week, but I didn't want to, excuse me, damn. I didn't want to announce it just in the off chance that I didn't go see these damn movies. But we made it to Cinema Arts, special Monday night trip out there a couple nights ago. for a double feature nonetheless. And the first up on the double feature is a somewhat newish, I believe it came out in 2018, French film called Cyrano, My Love. And this is a comedic piece that, somewhat like Shakespeare in Love, this is more of like a comedic stylings on how Edmond Rostand, the author of Cyrano de Bergerac, came up with the idea for the play and put it together in such a short amount of time. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, y'all. Especially for being a subtitle movie on a Monday night that I had no idea that I was going to go see. Well, there's no B or C, because I just said B and C all in that A right there. So, yeah. Usually when I go into a movie somewhat blind like this, it could be here or there. But I did check out the trailer before I went to go see it, and it did pique my interest. And I enjoyed this movie a lot. It is extremely funny, all over the place, laughs all over the place. I think I had the theater to myself, which was very cool on a Monday night. So I could laugh my ass off and not really disturb too terribly many people. But yeah, this one's going to be in very limited release as well. Find it where you can. It may be playing in some areas as just straight Edmond. That is Edmond. That is its original French title. But you can play it if you find it. But it's American title, Cyrano, My Love. Definitely check this one out. Sleeper comedy, y'all. I don't want you to sleep on this one. Find this one where you can. Once again, Cinema Arts, DC metropolitan area currently has this. This is going to be one of those that we're not sure how long it's going to last there. Because if I'm the only one showing up there on a Monday night, and there's a chance I might have been the only one to show up to the damn thing all day, it's not going to last past this week. So my recommendation to you is, as soon as this episode finishes up, you put that son of a bitch on your must-see list, and you go see that shit as a must. So Cyrano, My Love. Check it out. IMDb, Fandango. And last but most certainly not least on this episode's Real Rush Tickets, we go to our second feature of this past Monday night up at Cinema Arts. And this was a documentary, and it's called Jim Allison Breakthrough. And this follows scientist Jim Allison, who, inspired by the death of his mother at a young age for him from cancer, inspired him to find a cure for cancer. This man just won the Nobel Peace Prize a couple years ago for all his efforts into putting in all the time and the hard work and his efforts into pretty much finding something that could very well be the genesis for that is the cure of cancer, ladies and gents. If you don't know this man's story, like I do with any autobiographical movies, I try not to go into it doing any research beforehand. I recommend you do the same. For Harriet, that was a little bit difficult for me because I grew up on the story of Harriet Tubman. But Jim Allison Breakthrough, if you do not know the story behind this man of genius and all that he has brought to the table of breakthroughs in the fucking fields of health and science, narrated by Woody Harrelson, check this movie out where you can find it. Go get you some more education. Once again, this is playing at Cinema Arts. Very limited release. It's already been there for at least a week, so I'm not sure if it's going to be there past this week or not. So you might want to go ahead and do the same that I did and make this a double feature with Cyrano, My Love. Outstanding documentary, ladies and gents. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Go hear about this man who, at least just from my perspective, it doesn't seem like many people know about. So go check out, hear the story, hear Jim Allison's own words, and be inspired, y'all. Because it is truly an inspirational documentary. So Jim Allison, Breakthrough. Most certainly check it out. And that, my friends, is a wrap for episode 57 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. It is at this time that I would like to point out that I've gone through like 7 different voice changes within this episode. I want to thank y'all for sticking with me through this shit. It is also at this time that with every episode, I like to remind y'all that the next third Friday of the month Bandit Show is coming your way. Friday, November 15th, up at the Stagecoach Theater Company in Ashburn, Virginia. Tickets are still on sale online. You can also get your tickets at the door. They're $12 online, they're $15 at the door. But as always, I recommend that you go ahead and get your tickets online. So that way, you don't have to risk showing up to a sold-out show and then getting turned away at the door the night of. We've had to do that before. I'm sure we'll have to do that again. But I don't want that shit to happen to you. So, what you want to do is you want to go online to get your tickets. $12 online, but if you use the promo code John, my name, all caps, you get yourself a discount. Where can you go online to get yourself your Stagecoach Bandits Improv Show tickets? You can get those online at stagecoachtc.com/stagecoach-bandits. Once again, that is Stagecoach, T as in Tom, C as in Coach.com/stagecoach-bandits. Promo code John. All caps, wear that shit the fuck out. And coming up for y'all next weekend, episode 58 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. Well, for one, I hope I'm feeling better, because I have absolutely no idea what the hell I just said throughout this entire episode. And I'm not making that shit up. Alright, so what should I have reviewed for y'all next week on episode 58? Ooh, it's a hell of a lineup. We're going to have review for y'all. We're going to have okay. We're going to have review. You feel the sneeze coming on every once in a while. We'll have review for y'all. We got Dr. Sleep. Yeah. We'll also have a review for y'all Midway, in honor of Veterans Day weekend being next weekend. We'll also have Last Christmas. We'll also have the new John Cena firefighter vehicle, Playing with Fire. And last but most certainly not least, we'll also have for you Arctic Dogs next weekend. Oh, and I almost forgot, next Saturday, it's AEW Full Gear. Coming to you live from the Royal Farms Arena up in Baltimore, Maryland. You know your boy got tickets to that shit, so I have details for that for you as well, episode 58. But in the meantime, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any shit like that for your boy, feel free to go ahead and type those on into the YouTube page where you are viewing this week's episode right here, right now. For those who have subscribed to The Real Rush right here on YouTube, thank you for doing so. Don't forget to tell your peoples. But if you haven't subscribed to The Real Rush right here on YouTube yet, what the hell are you waiting for? You want to be the first one to know when your boy drops a new episode. And please, in the same vein as telling your peoples about The Real Rush, everybody should be spreading the word of The Real Rush like people should be spreading love these days, ladies and gents. So go out, spread that shit. And don't forget that The Real Rush does have replay value. Any movie that has come out over the last year or so and you want to know what your boy thought about it, all you gotta do is go up to the YouTube search bar and type in quotation marks The Real Rush, followed by, outside of quotation marks, the name of the movie that you're looking for, and then boom! Instant movie review on demand, because The Real Rush has you covered for life, son! And don't forget, you can always, as always, follow your boy on Instagram for my live movie check-ins as they occur. And that is at JDubChampion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for The Real Rush, ladies and gents, I am your boy JDub. Thank you once again for joining us here on episode 57 of The Real Rush on YouTube. And thank you once again for enduring my cloudiness and shit. But remember, when you're at the movies, chill out. Don't be doing all the talking and looking at the smartphone, and even turn the smartwatches on dim. Because I guarantee you that any conversations, any messages, and even the time, all that shit is going to be waiting for you after the movie's all said and done. I guarantees it. Enjoy yourselves at the movies, ladies and gents. Have fun, y'all. Love J-Dub. And let's see how well I can kick this motherfucker off. And